what has that growth looked like for you on the individual producer side? And then how has it been looking for your team? Can we talk about both those aspects there?
Mhm. Yeah. So the growth on my end, so like last year, I mean, I was running like 50 appointments a week for a while to figure this thing out.
Wow.
And that was tough. I just see like Easton go run 52 appointments. I'm like, hell, I'm gonna get 53. And then I see Easton post 54. I'm like, darn it, I gotta get 54 next week. But Easton and I kind of had a battle going back and forth because, you know, we weren't good at this thing a year ago. So we had to stack the deck in our favor. So I was issued, my numbers have stayed relatively consistent over like the last, I'd say 8 months, somewhere around like 40 to 50 grand. My best was like 60 something. But you know, now that I'm building my team, you know, and I've gotten better at the in-home by running so many
Sure.
freaking appointments, is that now I kind of stack my weekends very heavily. So I'll go around 20, 30 appointments on the weekend, write 10, 15 on the weekend, and then I build during the week. So my issue paid numbers are staying relatively similarly. But what I've done is I've condensed it a lot into a few days. So what that does is give me a few days to start building and spending more time with my team, you know, doing training, seeing where they need help, following up with new agents, making sure I'm still aligned with their goals. And then, I mean, this time last year, my team had me on it, and I think we did like 20, 30 grand. And I think we did 33 grand in February, just me. And I mean, my team so far this week has submitted about 110,000.
Wow.
So it's like, I'm cool with that. So
Yeah.
the team's obviously been growing. And when I first started hiring, I was just convincing people why they should work here. Hey, this is the
Right.
best place ever. Like, come work here. And now it's like, no, dude, like you go spend $500 on leads and you don't make it back. Like, are you going to curl up? Like, are you going to fold up like a lawn chair? Or are you going to keep investing?
Right.
And so like, we're the Yankees over here, right? So if someone doesn't just show up and say, hey, I want to go play for the Yankees. Like, no, like, why should they play for us? Like, why should they be, you know, with Family First Life? You know, we sold $200 million last year. Or 2 years ago, we did 325 million this year. Like, why should you work with us? What makes you think you're going to be successful over here? And I'm like super excited with the team growth. So now I'm getting into the system where I'm now after conference, which unfortunately I got the Rona, so I wasn't able to make it to conference. But all my agents were, and it fired them up. Like, they're like super freaking excited now. So now I got like 3-4 agents that are starting to share a similar vision that I had when I went to conference last year, and they're all starting to want to build their teams. Like, they're all fired up. So now it's getting very exciting because this thing should start multiplying, you know, once you find some other people with a similar vision.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. Just seeing your growth there, you know, going from, you know, 30,000 a month, just you, to last week you said what, 110 with your team?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
two of
last
my
week, what was
folks are
that?
about like this current week we're at like sitting around like 110, 120. I mean, I had 2 folks on the team. They're going to write about 30 grand this month. Another one's done about 25, and another one that did like 19. So a lot of these people are buying into the vision that we go to work.
Sure.
So and I was following Dave Witcher's lead of, hey, he's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. If I want to be like Dave, I got to start waking up at 4. Okay. So I started waking up at 4. And I just started working hard. And for a while, I always focused on, hey, if I go issue pay 40 grand, my team is going to, you know, they'll do 20, right? And they'll be happy with that. And I kind of took that a step back. Hey, if I'm waking up at 4 and going to work every day and working really hard, hopefully I'll help, you know, crazy attracts crazy, right? So I want to attract those folks that want to work really hard. So, you know, and let's say, hey, if I go work 100 hours a week, maybe my team will want to work 50. If they're working 50, they're going to go make a lot of money. So it's starting to get a little bit contagious with folks that, you know, want to work.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's so funny that what you said right there. I remember getting in some people and they're getting these big checks, most money they ever made. And you would think as a team builder, like, someone doesn't need, like, I felt like I didn't need any more motivation to go work than I could make 10, 15, $20,000 in a week. But then people are so inspired by you to a level that it almost doesn't make sense. They're like, oh man, you're out there crushing it, and they're doing it too. And I'm like, yeah, just go to work and you can do it too. Like, it almost didn't make sense to the level that they were inspired. and some people even
Yeah.
better than me. Like, I'm like, you're better than me. If you worked harder than me, you would be making more, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a weird dynamic being a team builder like that.
Yeah.
That still confuses me.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I remember I went up to, it's like 3 or 4 months ago. I went up to I live in Orlando now. I went up to Greenville to go to like a winter conference or something. And I was like super excited to go hear Dave Wizard speak. And I told him this too. It's like, dude, like, I thought you were terrible. All you talked about was having heart and going to work. Like, you didn't even talk about insurance. Like, you didn't say anything about insurance. Like, give me something I can go do. And for the next few months, I was like, how the heck does this guy have a massive agency? Like, how? Like, he didn't give me anything I could do. And then one of my agents the other day, he said, dude, like, genius is hidden in simplicity. So I started thinking, like, okay, maybe Dave's onto something here. Like, he just goes to frickin' work. That's it. So after I took that switch, I started working a lot harder. And then what do you know? Now my agents are starting to work harder. They're making more money. It is that simple. It literally just is going to work. And the consistency of it, which has been huge. So, I thank Dave Witcher for that. And obviously Dave thanks Sean. So inadvertently, thank you, Sean. Just don't overcomplicate this thing. Just buy leads and go to work.
I think almost mentally, like, we want it to be more complicated than it is, to like almost give ourselves an excuse. Because like if you make it more complicated, then you have an excuse for why it didn't work. But if you really boil it down to, I'm just running 30 appointments a week, I'm working hard, I'm waking up at this time, I'm dialing, I'm working these days, and you make it that simple, then really you have to be honest with yourself and be like, if I'm not successful, it's because I'm not working. So some people don't like being that honest with themselves. And that's why they try to make it more complicated than, because at the end of the day, I mean, it is, you buy leads, you call them, you run 30 appointments, you make deposits. You get that to where you're good enough to where your cash flow is fine. You're throwing it in the business, and then you just go tell people how to do it. I didn't recruit my friends. I don't know how much of yours is warm market. We did, right around 180 last month. And most of what I have is all warm market. And it was literally just me showing my friends, like, hey, like this is my deposits. Like, this is what I made. Like, I didn't have to try to sell them some vision. I was like, I buy leads. This is how much I spent. I went on these many appointments, and this is how much I made. That's so simple. Like, you can get so many people just doing that.